Yes, the recording has started. So the question was, what is wealth management? And someone said gave an interesting response: managing our income, investment, interest. What interest are we talking about? What is the word interesting here? Interest here. Is it the interesting interest or anything else? Savings, spending. They have used IIISS, pretty interesting. But the word interest here is talking about what interest did you mean? As I told you
The
during our,
growth of income.
yeah, you're saying
The growth of income.
a rate
Growth
of,
of income.
yeah, a rate of income or increase or rate at which we gain. What I mean is interest is a word which is called a English term for it is homonym. That is same word, different meaning. Interest has is the same interest as a word, same spelling, the word has a different meaning. So right here we are talking about interest in terms of financial mathematics. Now, why should you be aware of interest? Because right now most people, when you get an income, most people invest it in some stock market or different things, right? Their interest is not really working out there. It's about how smartly you choose to invest. When the rates increase, how do you do the trade? Then why should you be aware of this interest at this era? Why does it make sense? Why is it relevant still? Any thoughts? Anyone? Hello? Yeah, waiting for your response. Why should you be aware of interest? Is it something that everyone needs to know? Yeah, that's all right. Is it something that everyone should know? Or, yeah, I thought someone.
You're asking us whether or not we should be aware of interest.
Yes.
Of course, yes, we should.
In what context might you come across it?
For
Hmm?
anything, when you're applying for a loan,
Mm-hmm.
so the rate of interest matters, right? Um, when if you are giving out a loan to somebody,
Hmm.
you should be aware of how much interest. If you've invested in something, you should see what percentages that you get back if you have like an FD or
Hmm.
if you're invested in mutual funds. You know,
Yeah.
those instances, interest you need to know.
Okay. Yeah. You said loans, giving and taking loans. And then you said
Yeah, mutual funds and
deposits, right? Deposits.
deposits. Yes.
Yes. And then you said mutual fund. Some
Then
interesting word that you said, mutual fund. And then,
I said investments, but then that's not really interest. That is
yeah,
the
investment runs on a little different roles. All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone else? Any other thoughts? Anyone else wants to add something? All right. So it turns out the thing is the first time I was taught interest and everything in school and colleges as well. But the first time it caught my attention is when my dad said we had a house loan and he had somewhere around, by the time he retired, he had somewhere around 3 or 4 lakhs to pay back, still interest. And when he calculated, he realized that for this 3 lakhs, by the term this maturity of the term, the term loan period ends, instead of this 3 lakhs, he'll have to pay back somewhere around 8 or 9 lakhs if he is going to go with the usual term. Then he realized that it is a trick. He's going to end up paying nearly twice or more than twice of what the amount he has to pay. And that too, when you say 3 lakhs, it's a huge amount, right? So what he did is he said, I need another. Usually banks don't allow you to pay back that quickly. But he said, I need another loan. So somehow let me close it. He quickly went and closed his accounts, paying the remaining amount. The thing is, if my dad didn't know how to calculate, or if my dad didn't know how what is a projected amount he might have to pay, he would have had to work harder to pay much more than nearly twice the amount over the period of loan payment. That is one of the places where his knowledge in these concepts helped him avoid losing a lot of money. That's in case of loans. Now, let's come to the case of deposits. All of us do fixed deposit, right? I am someone who is much into fixed deposits, recently started with stock markets. Thing is, I thought there was a certain bank which used to give this much percentage of interest, and the second bank also gave something a little less than that, like 0.01 percentage less than that. I was confused. Is it? Or what? Should I invest here or there? What should I do? And then I saw that one bank is actually offering a certain type of interest, which you already know, simple interest, and the other bank is giving me compound interest. Which one do you think I should invest in? Simple interest or compound interest? Make a guess. It's all right if it's right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. So make a guess. Let's see. I'll put a quiz in the chat box. So over 1 year, they're giving me same interest, but for all right. So send in your thoughts. Which one should I prefer? Simple interest. I'm going to make a deposit. Which one do you think should be my preference? Simple interest or compound interest? Send in your thoughts in the chat box. There's a form posted, right? Everyone says compound interest. 100% is with compound interest so far. Nobody is ready to choose simple interest over compound interest. All right. 16 responses, 17, 18. Good. But 19. All right. Now the thing is, for a long time, I didn't know the difference between them when I started working. So I used to think that, okay, bank which is giving me simple interest seems to be, it's very simple, right? Compound was a very big word. So I started investing in the bank which is giving me simple interest. But unfortunately, it was a trick where compound interest pays me more over time. But there's quite a lot to see. So let's do some experiments to begin with. All right. Now, what is the formula for simple interest? Simple interest for a principal, okay, principal or principal. Well, which is it? There are two spellings, right? Principal or principal. Which should we use here? Which is the right word here? Have you ever noticed the difference between these two words? There is one way to vote for this.
The
You can
PLE.
PLE. What is the difference between those two words? What is the difference between those two words? Okay, someone has voted for simple interest and they did change their vote. The word here is this, and the reason this is again, I told you about homonym, right? This is an English term, and these are called homophones. Phone is sounding like. Homophone means something which sounds like something else. So two words which sound similar. Homonym means same word, same spelling, different meaning. Homophone means two words which sound similar. All right. Now, simple interest for a principal P with rate of interest R percentage. And what else do you need to calculate simple interest? What else do you need to calculate simple interest? Time period T. Well, in this case, interest I will be equal to interest I will be equal to P R T. I'll use small t. Then R is in percentage, right? 1% is equal to 1 by 100. So we'll have to convert R in percentage to the real amount, that is R by 100. So PRT by 100 will be the interest, but this will give you how much is the interest amount. But what we require is what will be my return if we are going to calculate what will be my return after this many years, after this time period T. You'll have to give final return will be equal to P plus PRT by 100. That is from your principal amount, you are adding the interest you got. Well, this is a formula that 90% of you would easily know. I'm just discussing it for the sake of those maybe from science background who might not have come across such formula. But mostly it is taught in school, so most of you might have come across it. This is for simple interest. And for compound interest, can someone give the formula? For compound interest? unmute, or you can put it in the chat box, whichever way. Yes. Let's put it as A. This A is nothing but maturity amount or final amount, final return, maturity amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by N to the power NT, where what are these for? P is nothing but your principal, and R is the annual interest, and N is the number of times interest is compounded, and T is the tenure or the time period in years. All right, now let me give you, I hope you made note of this equations because most of you may know it already, but let's do this. When R is the, here when you say R, you'll have to, R will be given in percentage, right? You'll have to convert it to 100. So R by 100 is what we are talking about. Well, all right. Now, let me give you some situations. Help me do this. There are two banks, Bank A and Bank B. I have account in both. And Bank A gives, I have 5,000 rupees to deposit. 5,000 rupees to deposit with me. And Bank A gives interest of how much? Let's say right now I think it's 6.25%. That is 0.0625. The percentage can be converted using divided by 100. And I was thinking I can possibly save it up for a mobile phone. And I thought I'll buy the phone after 2 years. Bank A is giving me this in simple interest. And Bank B, same amount, 5,000 rupees. 5,000 to deposit is what we have. And Bank B is giving me at a interest of 6%. And I'm planning to put it for 2 years because after 2 years, I want to buy it. And it says compounds the interest, compounding the interest 4 times a year. Times a year. Question, which bank should I deposit for maximum return? Please calculate. In other words, calculate simple interest and compound interest for the given rates and tell me which bank should I prefer to deposit in. Do the calculation and tell me which one should I prefer. Should I put it in Bank A or Bank B? You can put it in the chat box. I'll wait for your responses. Quickly calculate. And as I have already made it clear, classes, interaction is a part of your assessment. Therefore, be active in the class. Don't just keep it switched on and run off. And one more thing, I can actually, my eyes are always on the participant list. And I can actually see who is picking a call, who is on something, some other app. All of that is indicated here. So don't waste our time. Make sure that you give your focus here. All right. Now, which one should I prefer? So what is the final maturity amount that I get in each of the banks? Which bank should I prefer and deposit it? In case of Bank A, maturity amount will be equal to, what will be the maturity amount? P into, I gave you that, right? Yeah, P plus P R T. Here, rate of interest, we have already converted it to decimals. So 5,000 plus 5,000 into 0.0625 into times 2. What is this answer? Can you calculate and tell me?
5625.
5625. What about compound interest? So the maturity amount in this case will be, what will it be? Principal P into 1 plus R by N to the power NT, where P is equal to 5,000 in this case, R is equal to 6.00% or is equal to 0.06. N is equal to, it is compounded 4 times a year, and T is equal to 2. Therefore, amount is equal to 5,000 into 1 plus R is 0.06 divided by N is 4 to the power 4 into 2. What will this amount be? What will this be? Did someone calculate? 5,075, 5632.46. Interesting. How do you get 5,075? Just to know, if you can share, it would be great. We have two options, so let's see. Two people suggested two different answers, 5075 and 5632.46. Which one could it be? Did anyone else? Did anyone else? Okay, yeah, BB809. I'm sorry, I do not know your name, but 2 votes for 5632 and 1 vote for 5075. Anyone else? 3 votes. Okay, 3 votes for 5632. So 5, 632.46. In fact, that's the answer. But notice something here. In case of simple interest, we had higher interest rate. We had higher interest rate of 0.625. Still, compound interest paid us more in interest. We got a return of 5,632 with compound interest, 5,625 with simple interest. All right, this is interesting. So let's take a look at another case. Again, I have, before I go ahead, let me do this. Those who understood, can you give me some reactions in the using the reactions in team? Just give me some reactions, whether you understood or if you did not understand, can you give me the surprised reaction so that I'll know? And if you can unmute and tell me where exactly you are stuck. All right. That's all pleasant and happy reactions. Okay. Now, success rate of 100% is very scary because that means I might be communicating well. That's very, very scary. The thing is, after teaching in offline class, I don't know if you have noticed, teachers ask you, right, did everyone understand? And most of you think, yeah, let's all say yes, because they'll be happy. No, teachers will be looking for, did someone not understand? So that thing is, when we are in class, I always say this to my students in class. In class, be confident to make a mistake. And that's mainly because in class, if you make a mistake, we can all help each other out. I may make a mistake. I know that there are people who may know this better than I do in the team. They can help me out. So in class, we are all learning together. And when we are learning together, it's okay to make mistake. We can learn from each other. All right. But the thing is, it all depends on your confidence to step forward. Your confidence. Would you shy away or would you rather get involved? All right. Now we had two scenarios. One where bank paid higher interest under simple interest and compound interest compounded at 4 times a year. Let's see. What if the simple interest bank offered a rate of 6.5%, while for the principal is common here, principal amount is common here, P is equal to 5,000, and rate of here simple interest of 6.5%, and the other bank was giving a rate of 6%, which is compounded twice a year. Also, we need, in case of compound interest, in either case, we need the time period because, so the time period is 2 years again. Which one should I use? Bank A or bank B? Oh, sorry, not bank A and B. We already discussed bank A and B. Let's see bank C and bank D. Which one should we use? Bank C or bank D? Calculate, and I'll post a chat in the chat box. Post a question in the chat box and you can respond to that once you're done calculating. Do the calculation, get the answer ready.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a class at 4:30 for my credit course.
Okay. Oh yeah, there is that as well, right? All right, go ahead. I'll make a note of it. Your number, register number?
21 BBSF 05.
SF05. Okay. Yes, we'll try to figure that out as in the timing. SF05. 21 BBA SF. All right. Yeah, I made a note of your raised
Thank
number.
you.
All right. Okay. So which bank should I prefer? It is Bank D, and we have Bank D at simple interest.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
So actually, also having that great course.
Okay. Your number?
So BBSF 21 BBSF 50 50.
50. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Noted. Bank C, compound interest at 6% twice a year. Have you calculated? If yes, please put it in the chat box, the quiz which was posted. Calculate and put your thoughts. All right. Interesting. Someone voted for Bank C at compound interest of 6% twice a year. And someone voted, then all of a sudden, they all withdrew their vote to Bank D. I wonder why. Simple interest was not the winner in the last case, right? Let's see. Let's try calculating for the sake of those who uh, may have been introduced to this for now. Maturity amount is equal to, we have principal 5,000 plus 5,000 into 0.065, which is your rate of interest, into 2 years. And that adds up to, what is the value?
5650.
5650. And at compounded twice a year, compound interest, 5,000 maturity amount. Let me just put, let's put A is equal to 5,000 into 1 plus 0.065 divided by, we are compounding twice a year, 2 to the power 2 into 2. And this would add up to,
Sir, it would be 0.06 upon 2, right?
0.06. Yeah. The interest here is 6%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for pointing it out. Yes, what would it be? Final answer.
5627.54.
0.54. So clearly, the thing what I wanted to point out is, see, just because we can't simply say simple interest is always simple interest, despite giving higher interest rate, need not be need not give us higher return. We can't always say compound interest is always good. The point I wanted to try to make, I was trying to make is, it depends on the situation entirely. It may be simple interest, it may be compound interest, depending on the situation and depending on the variables which is involved. Well, let me give you a tougher question, and with that, I'll wind up for now, for today. We started at 50, right? The question is as simple as this. For what t term, for what term t will depositing in bank C under compound interest turn profitable? Can you try to think through for what term should we prefer bank C instead of bank D? Now we fixed earlier case, we fixed term to be 2 years. Now, for what term do you think the scales will tip? Is the question. That is, the scales will become bank C becomes more profitable to deposit than bank D. How would we calculate that? Any thoughts? You can go in years, number of years, to try calculating the interest, the maturity amount if you deposited for 3 years. Try calculating the maturity amount if you deposited for 4 years. And see at what point does the scale tip. That is, at what point does banks C turns more profitable than bank D? For what tenure at the same interest rate and same setup, same plans offered. All right. Now, I would stop with this. And as you know, there was not too much of extra information, but there was too much of getting used to how the classes will go around. Because we were using the chat, we were using the forms in the chat, and we were also using the reactions on how to respond to collect general opinion on how the different at different points, like did you understand, did you learn something new, and to get your reactions, we used different ways to communicate with each other. We used chat, we used reactions, we used forms, we unmuted and spoke, we sent different ways of communication. So initially it will be slow and eventually we'll speed up a little bit. But also one more thing that I want to point out is I would try to keep it practical. Where initially when I took the chat, when I took the poll in the chat, almost everyone favored compound interest, right? Compound interest was the first choice for everyone. And not many chose simple interest. But turns out the answer I want to point out is, depending on the situation, compound interest or simple interest, one of them turns depending on the context, only we can decide whether it's profitable, which is profitable and which is not. Okay, now can someone post in the chat box if they found for what term T will depositing in bank C under compound interest turn profitable? Did someone find it out? Under same interest rate, 3, would it tip at 3? What does others think? All right, think about it. We'll start with it in the next session. Now, think about this. Suppose you had a job. Think about these two things. Suppose you had a job. You are going to get salary. What kind of investment should you use, and what percentage of your salary do you think you would be able to move towards investment? And what all criteria should I consider before investing it somewhere? This is not really the math side of it. This is more of the aptitude side of it. I never had any wealth management course, therefore I had to figure this out myself, and I'm still learning on the go quite a lot. So thankfully, when I entered stock market, that was the time everything was collapsing. Therefore, it was a good start. It was the right time to invest. Everything is collapsing. Therefore, when you're at the rock bottom, you can only go up after that. Therefore, that was the right time to invest. Now, before that, I always trusted fixed deposit, and that's where most of my savings is. Now, after a point, once I started reading the clauses carefully, I realized that, okay, investing in this bank where I thought gives higher interest was actually a foolish thing because they were offering only simple interest. Rather than that, I should have preferred a bank which offered me compound interest for when I'm depositing it for this amount of year. So think about all this and think about this particular question I stopped with. We will continue in the next class, that is tomorrow. Tomorrow at 3:30. Tomorrow at 3:45 we'll start the. So I'll inform you about it, and I'll get back to you about it because I have a couple of meetings. But if not tomorrow, we'll have to fix a time. We'll again discuss that in the WhatsApp group. So those who, if you have learned something new, please use some reactions. Please give some reactions, and then you can leave the meeting. Someone had asked me about regarding the WhatsApp group. So please stay back. If you're here, can you please give me a heads up so that we can figure that out now?